on Shay the 16th, more than likely, putting you guys kind of waking up about 8 in the morning, and you can leave the barracks. You are more than welcome to go where you would like. I would, in general, say you have a solid understanding that a large portion of the town works in the mead hall. Many of them actually with the bees that are that whole southwestern side um, of the mead hall is basically where they have like a greenhouse where they keep bees, and then another half of that is where they're actually making the mead. So it's actually realistically the northwestern side of it is like a greenhouse, and the southwestern side of it is where they make the mead, and then that northeastern side of it is where they have like the bar and all of the actual like taverns. But most of the town works inside of the mead hall. Most of the rest of the town is effectively lumberjacks, and then you have a small group of people who effectively like work with Olivessa in the side things, like turning the wood that they are harvesting into barrels as coopers.
So, if the impression we had of Shandar that is kind of hard-ass logger, a lumberjack, he probably is not. I don't know. I don't feel like he's trustworthy. What you guys think?
Yeah, so Carvath, after kind of sleeping on it, the night after speaking with Shandar, and when they, after they wake up and the next morning, he's kind of like, I don't think he's, I think he has the best of intentions, but I'm not sure he's the leader this town needs. I must admit to being intrigued by Olivessa's offer, and I think I'm. And he kind of pauses, and almost like he's thinking about it again in his head, like, I think I'm going to take it.
Hector looks. You, if I think you could be a good leader to any town, but I don't think this Chandar is going to take this information with grace. I think he is going to do something to stop another candidate to the town speaker. I think we should keep an eye on him.
Oh, I've no doubt he'll now that he knows he's who he might be facing. I've no doubt he'll get up to some dirty tricks. But we've got a few of our own if needs come to it.
If you don't mind, I'd like to keep an eye on him. I'm gonna keep around him, see what he does. If I see him doing something fishy, I'm going to tell you. What about it?
Did you go to say something there, Larry?
I was gonna, Luther's reaction to Carvath saying that is to grin broadly and slap him on the shoulder and say that Good Mead would be lucky to have him as a speaker. And then to add, after our conversation last night, I think that if Shandar is the type to move against you, I think last night cocked the bow for that. So I think we should be on our, we should start politicking, and we should keep an eye out over our shoulders for Shandar. I don't think we should. Should go out of our way to have a confrontation with him, though.
I don't think so. We don't want to fight him. I think we should keep an eye on him because I don't like the way he doesn't seem to have any scruple. So we should be careful with someone like this.
Yes, perhaps it wasn't the wisest move to alert him to potential intentions, tweak his nose a bit, but I just couldn't help myself. But I suppose the first order of business should be letting Olivessa and Jaeger know that I'm going to do as they ask.
We should. I gonna be your campaign manager, my friend. You you inform your candidacy, then you go to middle hall, start talking to people.
Well, I imagine nothing's a done deal, and I would greatly appreciate your help.
Yeah, let's make our rounds. How about Luthor? Let's make some rounds.
Let's talk to Olivessa and Jeggar, start lining up some key endorsements, and then perhaps maybe I'll visit the shrine and get a sense of how the religious people, how the clerics and priests of this town, how they align themselves with these two forces.
So, what would you all like to do first here?
I think inform the Olivessa and the other guy about Carvath's intentions.
Yeah, I think that would be step one. Yeah. So probably, I don't know if they would be at the mead hall in the morning, but that'd probably be where we would head first. Or I guess we would have returned there after speaking with Shandar the night before, so we'd kind of already be there, right?
Like this would be the next morning, is what I was saying, unless you all wanted to really speak with Shandar before. But for what it's worth, I don't think there's any reason that you wouldn't necessarily know at this point where Jaeger lives. I don't think you have any reason to necessarily know where Olivessa lives or works at that point. But you could go by Jaeger's home, and that would be kind of the first scenario.
Yeah, that seems like probably the first thing we do the next morning.
So let me have somebody roll a D100. So heading over to Jaeger's home, you knock on the door and you hear from within the voice of a small child. Come in, come in! Quickly close the door. And you see this small little, about like 5, 6 year old looking up at you with like long dark hair. And they're just kind of like mouth open, jaw dropped, just staring at you in awe. Wow. Hi. What's your name?
Greetings, child. I'm Carvath. Is your father in?
Yes, yes. They're having breakfast right now.
And what is your name?
Sedona.
Pleased to meet you, Sedona. I don't want to intrude on their breakfast, but perhaps you could let your father know that myself, Etor, and Luther are here.
It's fine. Dad's gotta go to guard duty pretty soon here, so he'll be out shortly anyways. But I can definitely let them know. I'm sure he'll be happy to see you. And the kid just sits there and stares at you.
Uh, he's eating right now. Don't you want to?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I'll go get him. And then he like runs off to one of the other rooms. So it's just another few moments. You guys are basically just standing in a pretty austere room. You can tell there's signs basically that there are multiple people who sleep in this room, and there's basically two doors that are off from this room. Jaeger lives a very austere life. He is by no means in any sort of luxury, and he comes out from the room that the child has gone into, and is already essentially inside of his guard gear, where you see predominantly like actual warm weather clothing. He wears basically like a light, like a chainmail that is effectively like with furs underneath it. So he has some semblance of armor, and then the actual emblem of Good Mead is across his chest. The can't believe the word escapes me, but he basically stands before you, and with a smile on his face, he will greet you all. And I think you've stayed in Good Mead already, so I don't think he asked you like how things were with your sleep. But he at least inquires how you all are this morning.
We are fine, my friend. We came here today to talk about something that concerns the city and the next town speaker, Carvath. Do you want to have the honors?
Thank you, Etor. Yes, Jaeger, I've considered, as I said I would, the suggestion by yourself and Olivessa, and this meeting and speaking with Shandar and sleeping on it, I've decided I will stand for town speaker.
That is wonderful news, no doubt. We shall have to start pushing your name, making an effort to show that Olivessa and the old blood of Good Mead supports you. But that should make life here a little more stable for most of our citizens.
Well, I certainly hope that I can do a good job if I'm lucky enough to be elected. Is there anything that we should be doing to improve our chances? And I'm afraid I should say that Shandar knows, or suspects at the very least, that I'm going to be standing against him.
Don't think anyone would find that terribly surprising. He's not wholly unqualified for leadership, and is certainly not an idiot. It will be interesting to see what his path forward ends up being.
Tell us of the election. Oh, sorry.
Nope, continue.
Tell us of the election night itself. How is it done? By voice, by acclaim, by vote?
We vote anonymously on and I feel like he'll pull out like a little booklet and kind of look over things. On You see him look a little bit troubled. On the night of the new moon, we will have everyone within the mead hall. They will have the entire day to cast their ballots. And on that night, we will count them and determine who it was who wins the popular election.
Now, since we've been here, we've not asked, but if I am going to stand for town speaker, it's I believe it's imperative that there are no surprises. We've heard rumors of what some of the other settlements in the area have been doing to appease Oral. Perhaps it's time that we learned a little bit more about what is happening here.
We do not have a large group of her children who openly follow her. I know of maybe 1 in 10 of our people who follow her openly. But like many, the pressure has only increased for us to make sacrifices. We are fortunate enough, with the forest close by, that we have a large resource of wood that we are able to appease the children with. I assume that answers your question on that front.
And what do those who do not openly follow her think of those that openly do? How are the relations between those two groups?
I think you will find the most difficult part of discussing religion is always those who are in the process of becoming. There's no way to predict how many people will support her day by day. Every day of darkness brings more people to her side, to her worship.
And what of Shandar specifically? Do you know where he stands on this?
With Shandar, I know very little. He's always been a little bit more private of a person. I think our activities with the children is small enough that most of them keep to their friends and those who they are more aware of what they might do, were they to know the full story. I think if Shandar were a supporter of hers, if he were among the children of Oro, it would be likely that only his fellow loggers would really know.
I understand. Thank you. And Carvath is kind of going to look at Etor and Luther and um almost kind of give a little small shrug, like if maybe if they're going to be kind of watching, uh, trying to keep an eye on Shandar until then, this might be something uh to try and find out kind of about him.
Um, yeah, I agree. Can Luther do a religion check to see if he knows? I mean, it's marked on the map that there's a shrine of the flaming sword. So I don't know if he'd have seen a, a, a symbol or something. Um, and I'm curious what god that's associated with.
Definitely do a religion. The Shrine of the Flaming Sword, in particular, you would recognize a flaming sword as the symbol of Tempest, the god of war.
And the rest of the town, I saw that there was a flaming sword shrine here. Does Tempest hold much sway in this town?
Our shrine is a relic of our past. In the founding of our cities, Dugan's Hole and ourselves fought over the resources of these waters. And it's... He kind of looks like a little solemnly. You can see that he's got like a sense of this guilt is not his, but it does weigh heavy on him, even as a soldier. Long ago, the peoples of Icewind Dale named our lake the Red Waters for the blood that we spilt over these waters, senselessly battling between ourselves. During those ancient times, our people were stern supporters of Tempest, looking for guidance and power from the god of war. Now it serves little purpose to our people. It is largely abandoned. I think, were you to visit it now, you might find Kendrick is the only one who keeps the temple.
Kendrick is a priest then.
Kendrick is our town speaker.
Oh,
He's dead in the temple.
oh. Did you guys? I mean, that must have been before last week. So Kendrick is dead in the temple. Like, did he? I mean, was there signs of foul play?
So I think he was one of the ones who was killed by the giants. He was part of that shipment that got killed.
Got it.
That
He wasn't.
because he was
He's the one body that they basically recovered. It was actually whole, versus the other bodies were shredded.
yeah, and he was also the former town speaker, which is why they're having the election.
Okay.
And how are relations with Dugan's Hole nowadays? Is there any appetite for potentially reestablishing ties or coming to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement, similarly to how we did with the Verbeeg?
Their people are waning. Many generations of isolation have limited their stock, and weakness has grown in their people. Perhaps it is my own bias being a part of these lands. But as resources become more and more scarce, I don't think there is any room for Good Mead to find in our hearts to open up to Dugan's Hall. We see little of them, even in the circle of speakers. It is very rare for, I have her name somewhere, but I would have to look it up to actually say, but he will basically say it's very rare for the speaker of Dugan's Hole to go to Bryn Shandar for the Council of Speakers.
Like maybe it was like Egra or Egda or something like that.
That sounds right. I feel like it's the Edga. Yep. Edgra Dermont. But basically she rarely goes to the actual like meetings. And it's one of those things where effectively like right now, Good Mead as well as her would not be like expected to be, or rather, Good Mead would be missed. Nobody would be surprised if she didn't show up to a town speaker meeting.
Right. Okay. Yeah, so Carvath is like I mean I only ask because as you said you lost several people with this ogre attack, and if there's any possibility of expanding production of your mead, which would benefit the town, and if, as you say, Hugentoll is waning, I'm merely thinking aloud here. Some sort of combination or something of that sort might be beneficial. As I said, I'm merely thinking aloud.
Many such decisions would be yours to make. I don't know how popular of a choice it would be among the people of Good Mead. Were you elected, you could make those choices.
Yes, then perhaps something to revisit once all this is settled.
We benefit greatly when there are new folk who come to Icewind Dale. That we are a well-known name among all of the towns. We support them all with our mead sales and shipment, as they support us with the things that we require. It allows us to specialize more and to produce more. Dugan's Hole benefits from this just as much as others. But I don't think anybody is quick to ask Dugan's Hole for their stock in people. They have the red water to themselves for fishing. And while they do not produce much, they have a minute population that they must maintain. We get a little bit of food from them, and they are able to acquire a little bit of mead from us.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And I don't want to take up any more of your time. I'm sure you're busy yourself. Would you mind telling us where we might find Olivessa and to let her know as well?
I have to head into my duties for the day. She is off the main road to the east way in one of the largest of our homes. They still keep much of the Coopers in the area, and they have a large warehouse. It's difficult to miss, but I will be able to show you.
A favor and a quick
So,
question before we head out.
what do you
The
have in mind?
favor is that you keep this news to yourself for a day or two until we decide to announce it ourselves. My question is, knowing Shandar, how, if he loses perchance, how could you imagine him being bitter, or will he take it in stride?
He has always kept to himself over these years that he has been here. There's very little that I, in particular, know about his choices. From
You
what
have
we
no.
understand. What? Go ahead.
Is is he known to have a harsh temper?
So just as a recollection from last week, he's
Yeah.
been here in Good Mead for about 4 years. Basically, like shortly before the actual permanent night, and he is basically a lumberjack, and that's the only people who know him. So that's part of the thing is that he is a mysterious figure, and that's why Devessa's Olivessa's like people want her to fight against him and not let him get elected is because nobody knows him. He's been here for 4 years and nobody knows him. So you guys have kind of already asked that question of Jaeger. He doesn't really know this guy, and that's where a lot of people sit in relation to him. And that's part of what worries like the actual locals is he's been here for a while. He has the like hearts and minds of the loggers, but other than that, they stick to themselves. You know, they'll occasionally be at the meat hall for things that they like kind of have to be there to like basically be normal citizens. But other than that, a lot of people just don't know these people. So that's kind of like his response just kind of falls back to um his temperament seems fine enough for someone who we don't really experience him having hard times or good times. Um, there's almost the sense of we know so little that perhaps he is one of the most stable headed people that you will ever meet. Or perhaps he keeps to himself enough that we will never experience such things.
So basically, the Good Mead doesn't know where is him from, and not knows nothing about his past. Basically,
That is the way with most people who come into these lands. We've all been criminals in other places. It is only the children who grow up as natural parts without the taint of the rest of the world following us here.
yeah, that's right. I think we should uh, keep our attentions to this election and make sure that's a free and honest one. And that's the more important thing to do right now. I think both Carvath, Luther, and myself need to talk to Olivessa and try to you see if we can get more people to the position of opposition to Shandar. That's what I think.
Agreed. We should. I think it would certainly behoove us to keep an eye on him. But I believe the first matter of business, as you said, is to inform Olivessa of our decision as well.
So I think we should go. Be going. Let's go. Get going.
So, that large house that I have circled, we're going to call that Olivessa's and effectively the Cooper's. I feel like it was a big miss on their part to not name her Cooper.
Once Jagger's shown us the house and sort of gone on his way, um, Luther puts his hand on, the shoulders of the others and says, "A dark thought. The man who is in charge of the loggers and who holds their loyalty is the man the town relies on to offer the sacrifice to the children. A vengeful man might withhold that sacrifice if he had just suffered a grievous offense.
Roll an intelligence. You've already heard stories of the children of Oro burning people at the stake for refusing the sacrifice.
I don't think he wanna do that, Luther. I think he's going to risk his own life because of the town, the leadership. If he doesn't do the sacrifice, he probably will suffer the consequences of that.
Yes, I imagine a man like Shandar has a rather refined sense of self-preservation that, if nothing else, will prevent him from being
It's
vengeful, as you say.
it's more likely than a man like him try to do some dirty trick to either destroy Carvath image as a prospect candidate or something that will make him more popular. Something like that.
Well, I certainly have nothing to hide.
Well, you you are a unknown person as much as him, so people gonna need to believe in you, not
Can I get
because
a deception check from Carvath and an insight from the other two?
Yeah, I was.
yeah,
Yeah, I was.
yeah. I gave a laugh here, but I'm insight.
Yes, insight.
Yeah,
You guys are
I
bested.
was. I was waiting for that.
It was
Uh,
like zero reaction, and I'm
he's
cracking
he's
up.
an
I'm like, I
honest
gotta call
man.
for this.
He's an honest man. He has nothing to hide. He's such a good guy.
Never met a more honest soul.
Yeah, look at his face. Look at that honest expression. I don't know you for so long, Carvath, but everything you done so far proves that you are honest, and I will know because my God doesn't like liars.
It's not that I haven't enjoyed our time together. It's just that I mean, if I could settle down and take a position of some responsibility, I think I would. I think it would suit me well.
We have we have your back. I'm sure. If that's what you want to do, we are going to help you do it. Let's talk to Olivessa.
Yes, agreed.
So we knock the door of the Coopers of the Ward House.
I've rolled a few D100s today, and two of them have been 7. That should not happen. So knocking on the door to the Cooper house, you quickly have an answered. Somebody beckons you inside into. I feel like it would be 2 different houses realistically. So how about we go for you knock on the door, nobody answers, but you guys know that the workshop is like the southern side. Knocking on that door, somebody quickly brings you inside. It is not Olivessa, but as they kind of greet you, hello, welcome, Carvath. Etor? Luther? I
That's
believe
right.
Olivessa is expecting you.
Yeah, I don't think so, but we have news for her.
She's expecting you. I
Yeah,
think you might find that somebody who is as wise as her knows more than perhaps you do.
probably right.
Yes, thank you.
She has had to step away, but she has just gone over to the mead hall. If you would like to meet her there, she was assuming that you would be there.
Okay. I think we are going to do that. Thank you.
Yes, we will meet you there. Thank you.
But inside of there, I think you'd see about 6 or 7 people at work, different levels of barrels being produced. You can kind of see that they all make them in almost like they are specialized in what they do on each barrel. So each barrel is kind of moving down to not anger Ford a assembly line on the way to being a produced finished barrel. But they send you over to the meat hall. You all can head inside, and that is what I was actually talking to Justin about, because I spent way too long creating this little map that is not nearly as good as it could have been. So again, you guys can see it is effectively. I can't fix the direction that they have the meat hall set in, where the um, top left of this is north. Guess I could have actually drawn that on. But you can head on inside the mead hall. You see that there are currently about, what is that, like 8 people inside of the hall itself, as well as you can see that, shit, what did I name her? Had her a few times. Ariana, I feel like. The bartender is behind bar again. I guess I could drop Olivessa since I said she's here. So as you all head into the mead hall, it's not long before you notice Olivessa. Probably before she notices you, she is sitting there with some paperwork in hand, basically at the table where you all met last week, and you can just see she's just got things spread out, and seems more or less unaware as the door opens at that point. But it's approaching, like kind of like a midday for you all. Um, and more or less, it seems like some of these people are taking like a late breakfast kind of brunch.
I think we go to her.
So Carvath is going to suggest before they go over to see her, Carvath is thinking about, if we want to raise some goodwill, maybe buy a round for the people inside, or pay for their meals or something like that. With Ariana, I believe Luther and Ariana have a pretty good relationship, or was it Relic who had kind of?
It was more or less Relic, but realistically, I think you guys were picking up. She is somebody who wishes she had a different life. She envies that you are adventurers.
Let me take care of that. Hector goes to the bar and talk to her. Hello, how are you? I would like you. Go ahead, go ahead.
I'm quite well. How are you today?
Oh, we're cold as always, right? Uh, I'd like to do something that everyone will gonna like. I want to offer everyone uh, a, a drink on me. On car, I think they deserve it. They work hard, and I think I can spend some money giving something back to them.
I can do. We could. I think I have some of the 63 for 2 gold, 20 silver. It's a barrel. It should have enough for about 20 drinks.
It's a deal. I
Um, Excellent. Do you want to tell everybody? Should I just take it to them and have just give it to them? Do, do you?
let me do it.
Okay.
That's a good idea. He Ether turns to the around and say, "Everyone, I'd like to offer a free drink to everyone in thanks for your welcoming to us, and because we have good news. I'm sure everyone would like to a good drink. So congratulations to have such a good, nice city."
I feel like somebody just said, "Can you keep it secret for a few days?"
Yeah,
Yeah, Luther's eyes go wide.
I
just
can't even breathe. I'm laughing so hard.
Etor isn't have good news, but he didn't sell what it was. Uh,
That's why Luther kind of hastily made his way back around the table.
No, sure, I can keep a secret. Don't worry about it.
I never said I could. You ask Jager, not Etor.
Yeah, no, I think it's fine.
That's liquid gold right there.
Well, we're trying to win hearts, not making secrets. Come on, guys.
And your good news could refer to the fact that we solved the giant problem, like you said. So you have
Yeah, I didn't say anything about you being the neutral speaker. I said good news. People can interpret that as anything they want.
Are we having this conversation right in front of Ariana, where you just said, "I
No,
didn't say
no,
anything
no.
about you"?
No. I'm speaking of character.
Yeah, this is my out of character rationalization of what just happened. So
Sure.
Trying to explain that I was trying of character. Trying to explain that I didn't say anything that would indicate anything that Carvath was a candidate or anything. Good news could be mean about the problem being solved. That's what I meant.
now, I like the idea of like Etor, like he wants to keep the secret, but he's just so excited that
Yeah,
it kind of comes out.
it totally fits with the paladin and brash and sort of all of that.
I
That's
think
definitely how I took it. It's like there's no lie to him. He may not actually say it, but he's certainly going to get really close to saying it.
yeah. Okay. I to be honest, I start to think about saying, but in the middle, I remember that Carvalho said it was a secret, so I try to fix things. with what's not a good idea.
I like stop breathing. I'm like full on crying right now. Like it was hilarious. So yeah, you
That
basically
was
got
so much
everybody's
like
attention.
me. That this
You've
so
got like
much. Sorry.
no, you're good.
It's like It's like if you knew me for real, you know that Ettore and me we're gonna be spilling secrets all the time.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so you've got everybody's attention. Ariana is cracking the keg, or tapping the keg rather. And basically, like, I think you're about to pour, what is that, 13 of the drinks, and then, like, the next 7 people who come in, depending on if you guys stay and drink, can also enjoy a drink from you all. But effectively, at this point, you can make that announcement that you have great news for everybody, but you have all of their attentions inside of the meat hall.
So Ettore smiles. He says, "All three made a deal with a giant that was taking your meat. Now no one else gonna be hurt, right? Right?" He turns to Luther and Carvath. And then he looks at Carvath and says, "Thanks to Carvath that made a good deal with the giant."
So when you say this, Olivessa is going to kind of drop her paperwork and kind of stand up, and she as well will kind of yell off to the room here and basically kind of fill in some of those details. She's just going to kind of bolster what you're saying with, um, these are the wonderful adventurers who have come to our town and so selflessly chased down the giant that murdered Kendrick. A full 25 feet tall, it was a beast of a man, and they were able to convince it not only to not harm us, but to work and help secure our borders, where never again will we be assaulted, nor any of your husbands or wives murdered over any of our ale. And let me get a persuasion from you with advantage.
Myself?
Yep. So you'll just see as, like, kind of as she sounds off against what you said, the people inside of the hall all kind of like stand and clap. Um, didn't give any names though. I probably should have given your name, from Olivessa. Um, but they all kind of just start saying, like the classic, like, oh man, what is it? It's not here, here. I feel like there's a better one. Fuck.
Cheers.
Nah, that's not what I'm thinking of either, but I mean, that's effectively what we'll go for. I have a better one that if my brain were actually working right now, it would function. That's the joys of improv. So they all basically cheers for you. Um, did you actually say that you were buying them drinks and that?
Yeah.
No, you've just got their attention right now.
No,
I think you just said you've got great news.
I think I said I'm gonna buy drinks because you have good news. I'm gonna give back to you. I said, "Oh, politician."
Okay, cool. So yeah, they'll all kind of like start to come up and basically like shaking your hands, and just on that kind of like excited to meet um, some local heroes, and take their ales.
Hector goes to Carvath and whispers to him, "Now your time. Go ahead. Know the people we're gonna lead someday." He whispers and gives him a little push.
Luther, yeah. Oh,
No,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Martin.
if people are sort of coming up and starting to congratulate him, Luther um, is introducing himself and asking their names and just very much sort of being the, oh, and what's your name, and oh, and what do you do here? So he's beginning to try to get to know the locals.
Bit of glad handing, yeah.
Exactly.
Ettors, it's fine. Go ahead. Know your public. Go ahead. He whispers to Carvath.
Yeah, so Carvath will essentially kind of be doing the same thing that that Luther's doing, and just he'll be like kind of, Eto, you're too kind. It was a collective effort. We must all stand together in these difficult times, must we not?
So yeah, as they kind of pass by you all, they're just shaking each of their hands. They're asking your names as well, but you guys will basically hear in quick succession as a few of them are more interested in the ale and just kind of walk by without actually getting any of hearing anything from you. But you pick up that there is one Sinope, Pike, Ryan, Audia, Shidai, and Alice.
You came up with the names quite quickly.
I quite literally keep a list of about like 80 NPC names, and I will bash them together to make the names that you guys get. So usually I can never use a name twice because I change them.
Pretty good. I didn't
You
get
guys quite literally ask me for a bunch of NPC names, and it happens on a regular basis where it's a trick. It's like, oh, let's see if we can get them to give us names. Yes, you can, and I hate you for it.
We are here for you. So go ahead.
Yeah, so no, I was just gonna say, like, after kind of the glad handing and kind of speaking with whoever kind of comes up to us, then sort of after that, kind of Carvath would suggest kind of, okay, now let's maybe go speak with Olivessa.
I agree. Let's go.
Of them, 4 of them would actually stick around and actually speak with you all for a little bit longer. As Luther asks, like, what they do. 3 of them are actually from. Oh shit! All of you guys just left the. Is it from the button I'm holding? Did it just hide you?
No, I'm seeing.
No, I don't. Yeah, nothing's changed from my side.
Oh, I must
No,
have
wait,
hid.
no, wait. I just got your connection has been interrupted.
Okay.
It's weird. I only see myself in roll 20, like in the
Yeah,
token
my
at the
my
bottom.
bot's doing the same thing. It
I'm
looks like
alone
everybody.
here. I'm
Yep.
alone.
All right. Well, at least it's not a hotkey that I was pressing. But it doesn't matter. We're realistically just using that as kind of a place setter. That is where I got the connection is interrupted though. So yeah, 3 of them work over in the greenhouse. One of them works in the actual production line. But they basically kind of like they're the slightly more friendly of the ones who are there. They basically point out that most of the people who are here right now are from the greenhouse. 3 of them are from the production, and like the one who is as well from the production points out like the other 2 who they work with. And basically, you just get that idea that there's a certain level of people who will almost always be inside of the mead hall because they work those 2 things pretty much 24/7. They have like a constant cycle of people who are taking breaks, who are working, and who are basically not working because they are constantly in production. But they all are kind of like taking in the opportunity to like meet some adventurers, very similar fashion to how Ariana has really taken to you all. It is. This is a town of people who will almost always find adventures fascinating, kind of thing. Like it's kind of that feeling. a lot of people feel like this is a boring existence because this is one of the few towns that actually has like a stable existence. And that like the murder from this giant was the thing that really shook them into kind of a reality of they're still a part of 10 towns and they're still suffering from those same things. Otherwise, a lot of people are kind of in that denial of thinking, they're like in a better place and they start to like really take it for granted. But after that, my apologies. After that, you can definitely go over to Olivessa, and she welcomes you over. She's happy to see you all, and she's kind of looking towards Etor and towards Carvath. Like, it seems like you've already started. Have you decided to stay?
Greetings, Olivessa. I've slept on it, and I've decided that, yes, I will stand for town speaker. And my friends here have been generous enough to offer to assist, uh, however they might.
Well, that is certainly delightful news. Um, she'll like motion with her hand for you all to kind of sit down. Have you broken today's fast? Are you hungry? Would you enjoy something to eat?
Etor smiles. I could do it. I think it's good to eat after a long night.
Yes, we'd be happy to join you.
And she'll just kind of wave over towards Ariana, and you'll see her flash like four fingers into the air. And Ariana will kind of like nod and step towards the back room. Pretty safe to understand that she has probably asked to have some have some food brought over. I love that you're adjusting your character over there, Luther. And she'll kind of look back around you all after a few moments. And can I assume that your meeting of Shandar yesterday went quite well? That you seemed intrigued enough to jump at the opportunity?
He doesn't seem a bad sort, I suppose. He just doesn't seem like the what this town needs at this particular time. I don't want to sound arrogant, but I believe perhaps I could be of some use to this town, and that is why I've decided to accept your offer and stand against him.
I think it speaks volumes that you're not inclined to insult the man.
But he's given me no particular reason to. I can't say I particularly like him, but as I said, I'm just not sure that he's what this town needs.
Since I'm not going to be the next town speaker or any position, I can say that he doesn't inspire uh, too much trust on him.
Hopefully, the rest of the townsfolk believe the same thing.
Speaking of which, um, It is to your credit that you elect your speaker with votes. Do you have any sense of the factions in town? How many loggers, how many people might we need to convince to vote for our friend Carvath here?
The actual difficulty will perhaps be the people who are not blind followers, but approximately 30 or so loggers in town. There's about 15 coopers and probably about 20 or so old-blooded folk who can perhaps be assumed to follow me. Hopefully, you all can grab up the remainders simply by being heroes for us. Um, with that in mind, it's a small town. You should need about 50 to 55 votes to be able to carry the majority. I don't expect to see a third party, and I would expect that most people who are asking me to run would follow those that I ask them to support.
And is there? I know you've said that the loggers will tend to follow Shandar, but is there anything that would sway even a few of their votes?
It's difficult to predict. I don't really know for sure. I've never in particular been a political person. We were rather happy with Kendrick and the position that he served. He was a well-educated soldier who ruled with a very level mind. He did not take the power to heart and was always quick to discuss with the town as a whole. Um, I think being open to the discussion, trying to model yourself on Kendrick's ideals might be among the best things that you can do to sway such people. Don't believe he ever lacked for support in the past.
Thank you, Olivessa. And then I must say I am heartened by your, but don't take this the wrong way, but lack of ambition. It takes a strong woman to decide that she does not want to lead. I shall endeavor to do my best to earn the trust that you've placed in me.
We have to trust those we can. You've shown a lot risking your lives, and as I understand, that giant was turned by your quick thinking. Our people are suffering, and all of 10 towns is suffering through this long night. What I understand is correct. We need people who stand up to those opportunities. And I am beyond those days myself. I never had delusions that I would go after any sort of power. My time is best spent with the youth, sharing stories, sharing joy. I can't create the change that they need, but I can help them. So, in general, what do you all have in mind? Do you have any other questions for Olivessa? Do you have particular things that you would like to do as far as like politicking? Because otherwise, we'll kind of like fast forward over these next days because effectively, at very least, Carvath is here for good. Um, and it's kind of up to you guys. Like, is the adventuring party going to hang out and stay around, wait for Carvath to run? Are you all intending to kind of move on?
I I think Arthur is going to help him get elected, but since he shouldn't stay in one place for too long, it's after the election he's probably going to move on.
Yeah, I think Luther would be the same way. He'd want to stay around, and if things go well for Carvath, then fantastic, and they'll move on. But he wouldn't want to sort of abandon him. Um, Luther, as far as it goes for politicking, he's a lawful good cleric, so he's sort of has an excuse. In my, like from my viewpoint, he has an excuse to go and meet people and talk about, especially poor people and sick people, and sort of to offer to help them. So that would be sort of his role in politicking, is like real retail, knocking on doors, offering minor help to people in need.
Justin, do you have any interest in introducing your other character? Or would you like to just kind of throw him in afterwards?
So I feel like Brannick is kind of, he might even have been in the tavern when all this was taking place, kind of sitting in a corner maybe, and
That's where you're going with it. I'm going to fast forward a few days, and you guys are relaxing in the tavern, and I'm going to cut you off there. Because you all are going to hear. Yeah, I didn't get any inclination that you guys were going after Shandar again, so this is how it's going to kind of play off. You guys are going to hear from outside a booming voice that just kind of shatters the kind of quiet and calm. We have your town surrounded. The mead hall is ours. Give up yourselves, and you will not be harmed. And then, after a few moments, the doors are going to open, and you hear again from outside, like, stop moving. Stop moving your character. You hear the voice again as there's over 40 soldiers here from East Haven. Your people will not be harmed as long as you do nothing stupid. And then you guys can hop into initiative. I'm gonna move. Okay, that tells me you're 100% about to do something stupid. So, as the doors open, oh wait, who didn't roll right there? Carvath. You're on Luther. Actually, I need to grab another drink, so let's take a quick break here, and I'm going to go grab a drink, and I'll be right back.
Sure, sounds good.
Okay.
Is everybody essentially back right now?
Yep.
I hope I can pull off the reference that I'm going for here. I fully believe that it is impossible watching Etor immediately try to move away from the table.
Yeah, I'm back.
Word. I think we're just waiting on Fenton at that point.
I look forward to trying to catch the reference.
I hope I can pull it off.
Okay, I'm back.
All right. So I think everybody's back there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So as these people initially start walking in through the doors, let's see. Being too high to the top of the map. Can't add their turn. All right, so from inside of the booth, you guys hear as the voice kind of transitions inside with the opening of the doors, and you're going to see as somebody hops up on top of the table and yells, "Listen up, everybody! This is a robbery! Don't make any stupid moves, and nobody gets hurt." And this person's just waving around a crossbow, kind of looking around at everybody. And it's going to go to Carvath.
Nailed it. That was the reference, right?
Yeah. I wanted to go through the whole actual diner scene. I was trying to pull off the whole scene because you weren't supposed to do anything. This is supposed to be a comical encounter. But like I said, the moment I saw Etor like already leaving the table, I'm like, yep, not going to be able to happen.
All right. What did this the person who looked up hopped up on the table? What does he look like?
It's going to be the classic problem of Icewind Dale. As far as I'm concerned, people who are coming in from outside are all wearing those like puffy anoraks where their whole body is covered in fur and leathers. So other than basically seeing like a puffy person who's holding a crossbow, they're pretty average height for a human, probably about 5'5", 5'10", in that kind of area. Pretty average build. They don't look especially heavy and they don't look especially lean. But yeah, I don't really think Icewind Dale is a good place for people looking different.
Got it. Yeah. Okay, so
I will throw out there, I don't think these people would have traveling gear. They're probably not carrying things like backpacks. They don't have things like snowshoes strapped to said backpacks. They look like people. Yeah, I need a perception check probably. You could do, I think that's probably where it would be to give more details than that. Yeah, so I think it's safe to say that you notice very quickly that these people aren't carrying anything. So they are likely somebody who is either here in town. And again, we're kind of like fast forwarding days into this. You guys have to spend 15 days here. I think it's good to kind of call this like 4 or 5 days down the line kind of thing. But basically, this person doesn't seem to be carrying anything other than the crossbow, and they are set up in like warm weather clothing. I think it is safe for you to assume with that like ability that they either have thrown their stuff outside, or this caravan from East Haven has like all of their actual stuff for survival outside, or perhaps something else is happening.
okay. I want to have Carvath say like, "Be cool, man, be cool," but it's probably not keeping with character.
Luther looks for an orange
Do
shake to drink.
it.
So Carvath will kind of seeing this happen. He'll kind of like turn around from the where he's been sitting at the table and okay, all right. No need for any trouble. What's what do you want? And essentially, I guess as an action, he'll take the dodge action.
Gotcha. One's jumping up on the table, waving around like a longbow, and she just starts going into a rage as well. Any of you fucking pricks even move! We're just here for your coin. Pull out your purses, put them on the table. And it's going to Luther.
So I don't think, and I can't see them clearly, and they can't see me clearly. Is that right?
For what it's worth, I had never thought of those little like walls of the booth. That's like me kind of like starting the back of the like seat.
Oh, okay.
So I would say you're in view enough that they know there's 4 people at that table. You could potentially try to stealth. It does not like it's necessarily going to be something where you
Yeah.
can really hide.
No, I was actually thinking more of trying to kick my gemstone. Wherever I keep my gemstone, I was thinking of trying to kick it back underneath my chair.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some level you could try to do a sleight of hand.
Yeah, okay. I'll try to do that. So essentially that's the most valuable. He has his purse and he has that one gemstone they got from that adventure. So I think he's gonna try to kick that back under his chair into the corner. Oh well.
You have a sneaking suspicion that the two people on top of the table definitely saw that happening.
Yeah.
I feel like for what it's worth, it's kind of the type of thing where you like went to like slide it down your leg and it just like started to like slide down
Clunk.
and there was just a big old clunk. Yep. And like both of them like looked over right as it happened. Are you doing anything else though at present?
I'll reserve a dodge or whatever you call reserve. And the action would be, if stuff starts flying, he's gonna dodge.
Yeah, so you can just take the dodge action. You don't have to hold it like as a reaction.
I see. Okay, then dodge.
If you want to take the dodge action, I feel like you've got to flip a 50-50, whether that sleight of hand is what you did or the dodge. But the sleight of hand is going to be your action. And part of why I say that is in particular knowing more about the thief rogue. That's part of what they excel at, is being able to do shit like that as a bonus action. And I can't really rob them, even though it's not a class being represented here. That's a reason to take that class. So I say flip a coin. You've got a 50-50. If it is odd, like roll a die. If it's odd, you're playing sleight of hand. If it's even, you can take back the sleight of hand and you can take the dodge action. Okay, so essentially
So I take
that
dodge.
ruby is still on your person.
All right.
And I
So
should have
it's
actually asked
yeah.
first, but your dexterity, is it 14 or 15?
It's 15, but I'm at disadvantage for stealth. I'm at disadvantage, but it's
Okay, gotcha.
15.
I don't have any other clever lines prepared.
You can have
Yeah,
one of them do the Valley of Death.
No, I think this one it fits more if he just is quietly starts to go around the room. Let's see which direction he's going. And he's just gonna start collecting valuables.
I thought about my wallet, everything bad motherfucker at it.
Nice.
And Etor, what are you doing?
Since my companions don't seem inclined to fight, Etor is going to get up and, without any sudden move, gonna look at the people stealing. He's going to hold our action when one of them gets closer.
All right, so I want to bring this up because I feel like I actually screwed somebody over the other day by not bringing up ahead of time. I'm about to ask you what action you would like to hold and what the trigger is to do it. If you're about to tell me that it is an attack action, if you're like holding an action to strike somebody with your sword, you're drawing your sword and you look like you're doing something hostile. If you're holding your action to shoot somebody with a bow, you're drawing your bow and you look like somebody about to do something hostile. So, what action are you thinking about doing? And what is the trigger?
I'm thinking like this. I'm sorry, guys, but as soon the one of the guys, the bandits, approach to grab my money or gems, I'm gonna headbutt him.
Okay.
That's it.
So the other one is just kind of like running up to Ariana at the bar, and he's just kind of reaching over with like I feel like he's just reaching over like for the coin, kind of like leaned over the bar right now, and he's just basically like grabbing coin from Ariana, and it's going to loop back around to one of the others on top, and he's just kind of walking down the table, just keeping an eye on everybody with his crossbow drawn. And it's going to Carvath.
Would Carvath have noticed Etor essentially kind of like maybe stiffening up or like essentially getting ready to fight?
You had a solid perception check there. I don't think it would be absurd for you to see his muscles are tensed.
So Carvath's gonna kind of like hold out a kind of like lowly kind of hold out a hand and kind of like make like a try to make like a calming motion, like subtly. Sort of not like looking, so still looking towards the like the bandits or whoever they are, but kind of like um out of the corner of his eye, kind of like seeing this, kind of like, come down, come down. And he's going to sort of like move, kind of like walk out a few feet, kind of looking towards the kind of the first guy who moved in, who he probably assumes is the leader of this group, and I'm not sure you really want to do this. There's not much for the taking here. And kind of as he's saying that and kind of trying to maybe calm down Etor, he's going to kind of again kind of be taking the dodge action, kind of keeping an eye in case somebody fires a bolt or something like that at him.
All right, so you can say that, but you are not trying to persuade them unless you are using your action to be persuasive.
No, I think his main action is to take the dodge. He's kind of he's saying that, but
Gotcha. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure.
yeah, no, yep, understood.
So the woman is just going to just like move right up into your face with an arrow in your face. And she's just like, listen up, motherfucker. I don't know what you're trying, but don't do anything. Give me your coins. And it's going to Luther.
So we've been here for a few days. So Luther thinks about the mead hall, and it only has the one entrance. And does that entrance, can it be barred?
I don't think it would be absurd to say that it could be barred, but it does have multiple entrances. There's entrances in the actual, like, in the greenhouse and in the alehouse, and then there's, like, doors at the southern end that lead to those. The mead hall in particular only has the, like, main entrance there.
Okay. So this is a door.
One second, I
And
can't see everything.
in the lower left-hand corner, there's maybe what looks like a door.
So, as far as I am concerned, this whole... I can't do it while I'm holding Alt. This whole back area is like stairs that lead up to glass, like I was like, imagine like Japanese style doors where you can like slide the entire wall out of the way and open up that whole wall into the production facilities. So, in my opinion, that whole like southern side of this actual picture, which is actually the southwestern side, if you look at it from outside, that whole back wall is just glass.
Okay, so in other words, so this isn't really a defensible position where we could maybe just take on these 4 people.
Roll an insight check. Do you really believe that there's 40 people outside? There might just be 4 people here.
Yeah, that's very much on my. That is very much a question I have. So for an action,
But yeah, the mead hall itself is not really like a defensive position. It's definitely a community gathering place.
Yeah. I think for my action, I'm going to take dodge.
Off character, guys. Do you think 40 people with from East Heaven are gonna appear and start robbing Good Mead? That will mean war.
Well, that's kind of outside the game. I mean, I think we have to role play it, right?
Right, I'm just commenting out loud. I'm gonna start doing what Hector thinks he's going to do, but you're right. We don't know.
So the silent one is going to continue grabbing everything from those two, moving down to grab things from the southern table. And it's going to Etor.
I thought doing many things, but I think the only thing that seems reasonable is that Hector is going to slight approach Carvath slightly here and gonna take the dodge action because I don't know what's going to happen.
So, guy with the club is rolling over these next 2 people, and as he kind of like runs through the tables, he's just kind of like smashing this club right on top of the table, just as like a little intimidation tactic. As he clears over, the archer or the crossbowman is going to hop to the next table, and then he's kind of like twist back, like looking at you all. You're starting to like garner attention from them, and he's just going to let's see. Morgaine, calm, calm. Drop your coins and step back. And then it's going to go to Carvath.
So Carvath at this point has let's see what crossbow in his face, right?
The crossbowman is looking at your table from on top of the tables, and then it is the archer who is in your face right now.
Okay. So Carvath is kind of gonna hold up his hands, kind of, um, no trouble wanted here. He's going to say, I'm going to I'll give you what I have. It's not much. And kind of as he's reaching, he's going to attempt to. No, it's a verbal and somatic. He is going to
Roll a perception for me. Just the fact that you are thinking about casting a spell. You see, though she is acting erratically, her eyes, she is incredibly perceptive. Every little like flinch of your muscles, her eyes dart to that movement, and then back to your eyes. When you think this, she darts towards that, and then back to your eyes. She is on top of whatever you are doing.
got it. Okay, so seeing that, he's gonna rethink his original idea, and he will
And
reach.
again, that's me because you seemed to be thinking about like whether that was a good idea or not. That perception check was for you to see. She is a high perception character.
Okay. Yeah. So he'll kind of, like you said, he'll kind of slowly reach for his purse, which he would, I guess, be carrying kind of on his hip, and he would take it and hold it out, and be like, look, just take what you want, and no one needs to get hurt. Yes.
So you're like just holding out your purse right now?
Yeah. I mean,
Gotcha.
I would like to think that he would be smart enough to have kept that blood ruby separate, but I don't want to say that he definitely did.
It's a learning experience for you guys. That's one thing to keep in mind, especially when you go into big cities where pickpockets are expected. You need to have a purse, and you need to have a purse. Not all purses are equal.
Yeah, and he probably wouldn't be thinking that they were going to get robbed, so he probably wouldn't have thought to do that.
Yeah, spending money and all of your money are two different things. That's how I go to New York City. So, with that in mind, I'm just gonna assume you've got your purse out, and you're just kind of holding it out towards her.
Yeah, yeah.
How much gold do you have in your purse, or how many coins?
So it kind of depends on. I know we got 8 gold and 13 silver from Jaeger. After I don't know if we split that up, or if that's like in party loot, but I assume we would have essentially split it equally among the 4 of us.
Yeah, anything
So
in party loot should be split. So yeah, assuming that you guys left that in party loot, that should be inside of purses.
So
I don't
that's
even
right.
see anything in there.
three gold, 1 silver apiece, right?
I think we got 8 gold and 13 silver, so it'd essentially be 2 gold, and
Yeah, I
assuming
would say do the
relic
2
gets,
gold, 4 silver.
and then somebody has 1 extra silver. Okay, so in that case, I have 3 gold, 43 silver, and 1 copper, plus I guess the ruby will
Gotcha.
be in the purse
Yeah,
as
so
well.
she's seeing like 50 coins. That's a pretty nice looking pouch. It looks pretty thick. She's going to, assuming that's the end of your turn.
Uh, yeah, he wouldn't cast a spell or anything, no bonus action, so yep, that's it.
House. Get over here. Grab this. Oh, these guys are loaded. So he's just going to run over. He is not able to actually do anything. And she's just stepping back and kind of calmly, she's actually like stepping back up onto the table there. And then it's going to go to Luther.
He looks at Olivessa and just in a matter of fact, voice says, 40 men from East Haven.
You're trying to get an impression from her?
Yeah.
Roll an insight. She looks panicked. She doesn't look like somebody who doesn't believe this.
I am still not going. So I'm still going to take the dodge. I'm not going to sort of produce my purse and throw it out there.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think for what it's worth, as far as you guys are concerned, though, you understand that East Haven is the oldest of the cities. It's one of the largest of the cities, and it can probably field the largest fighting force. 40 men shouldn't be too surprising if East Haven were to invade Good Mead. So I added the 2 coin and the 4 silver to relic as well. And yeah, so I think Thaus is going to take your coin purse from you, and he's going to drop it into the bag. And then he's moving over towards Etor to take his coin purse. What are you doing, Etor?
Just a second. I'm pondering my situation.
I would love for you guys to do that on everybody else's turn, but you can have a little bit of time to try to decide.
Okay. So he's holding which weapon, DM?
The guy in front of you,
Yes.
he's holding a bag full of coins and purses.
No.
Do you want to do a perception check to look on him?
Yes.
Roll a perception check. You don't see any weapons on him. He's just covered in his cold weather clothing. Seems to be somebody who's just here to collect coins.
Too bad for him. I'm going to attack him.
Too bad for him.
Yeah, he's in his front. I'm gonna attack him.
So the crossbowman is going to shoot you with a 15 to hit.
Don't hit.
The archer is going to shoot you with a miss. So what are you doing to the other guy in front of you?
Gonna smite him.
It is your turn. You went to do something, and they have readied actions.
Yes, I thought they would. So I'm going to attack him. Gonna gonna make the attack, then divine smite. Okay.
All right, you don't have to divine smite until you know that you want to.
Okay.
If
So I'm
you
gonna.
want to burn a divine smite before you know that you hit, that is perfectly fine by me, but you don't have to tell me until you are ready to do it.
Okay, so I'm gonna attack.
You swing out at him and you do not hit.
Okay. So after that, I was going to move here.
As you move away from him, he slashes out at you with a sword with a 16 to hit.
Miss.
End of your turn there.
I'm gonna be a melee distance of the archer. And here.
You're going to see the guy from the south is going to charge at you as he yells out, and he is going to make 2 attacks at you with advantage. The first one is a 14, should miss. The second one is a 20, should hit.
Yes.
And he's going to do 8 bludgeoning damage as he smacks you with his mace. Morgan! Top of the order. You are going to see as the crossbowman starts to weave divine magic. He is going to summon a small ethereal knife directly behind your head, and it is going to strike out at you with a 21 to hit.
Hits.
And that's going to do 7 piercing damage to you.
Okay.
And then let's see. Cast the spell. So he is going to reach up to the sky, and as he reaches up his palm to the sky, he's going to pull down a dark pillar of black purple light. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
I think it's a good idea to use my inspiration. Dexterity check. Okay.
Dexterity save if you have proficiency. You will pass, and he will take no damage. Carvath, everything has begun. What would you like to do?
The Carvath is gonna like curse God, and he's going to kind of start to back up, like as he's at this point. I guess the person took his purse, right?
Yeah, your purse is gone.
Yeah, so he's gonna kind of like start to back up a few feet and just like take what you want and take what you want and go. And he's going to take the dodge action.
Alrighty. Let's see. Archer is going to she's about to drop her bow and strike out at Etor with her sword as she draws a sword from her waist. First attack is a 17. Second attack will fail.
Miss both.
And it will go to Luther.
I have to measure for enough. I move. So Luther basically shifts behind the table and casts Sanctuary on Etor.
What that does? I don't remember.
They have to do a Wisdom saving throw to attack you or do a harmful save. Oh, and even on a failed save, they have to choose a new target. Oh, sorry about that, Carvath and me.
I believe it only lasts until if you attack, it ends the spell.
Any target. Oh yeah. Okay.
This came up in another game, so I just wanted to mention it. Mechanically speaking. I mean, obviously, Etor wouldn't know that, but
Anything else from Luther?
Not unless he can get that not unless he can get that purse under the chair.
Can do another sleight of hand.
I'll take advantage on this.
It's not advantage anymore. Those dice are plus or minus.
Oh, I meant okay, so not inspiration.
No, inspiration is now you have 3. You could add +3 to that. It is no longer the ability to roll an extra dice.
Oh, I see. Okay. I don't know. I mean, I called that I was going to use it, so I guess I should use it, right?
Well, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, you guys are able to see your actual rolls before you use that stuff. Do you think an 8 is good enough that you could make an 11 and that would be good enough?
No, I don't
Yeah.
suspect so.
I don't think you have to use it.
Yeah, so no other action.
So yeah, the one in front of you is going to recognize that happening. I think he is going to bonus action disengage. He's going to run over to Ethor, and he's going to stab him in the back of the spine. First attack miss. Second attack 18.
He has to pass.
Oh wait, he's got to do the wisdom.
Yes.
Wisdom will fail. So different target. I think he's going to end up dropping his sword, and he's going to shoot his hand crossbow at, I guess, odd as Carvath, at Luther. And he will hit with a 21. He's going to do 4 damage to you and make a saving throw, a Constitution saving throw. So you maintain concentration. So let's see. Word. Everybody is going to hear the doors open. Fear not, good people of Good Mead! Shandar is here to... What the fuck? And it's going to go to Etor.
I knew it.
Yeah, you guys were supposed to know it. He's not a good person.
I knew this. It smelled like a trap. Okay, off character. Okay. Etor, being the here paladin, he's going to attack yeah the archer again. Again, no, the archer that tried to hit him with the sword.
Swinging out at her, she's able to move to the side and dodge it.
Uh, sorry. Uh, I have no. Let me see. I can use as a bonus action Shield of Faith. That's what
Plus
I'm
2
doing.
AC.
Yes.
Alrighty. The one to the south of you with his mace is going to swing out at you twice with advantage. First one is a 16. Second
Miss.
one is a crit.
I'm gone. He should show the throw wisdom save.
Nope, you attacked and Sanctuary drops. So he's going to do 5 damage to you.
I'm down.
Um, I'm going to go on an 8. He's going to finish you. The leader of this little band is going to look out. We've handled one of your crew, Shandar. You can't stop us all. And then he is going to bring down that same black pillar of light from above. Carvath, what are you doing?
So did Carvath, does Carvath, I mean, I know that now that this was kind of orchestrated by Shandar, but what has Carvath noticed of kind of him
You could do
busting
either a
in?
perception or an insight at that point. There's definitely a certain amount of theatrics that these two are playing out, and you're starting to catch on that had you all not been here, this was the moment everything was supposed to hit the fan.
Right, and like you said, they're not wearing any sort of outer weather gear. They seem like they're kind of they haven't come in from, if they were, like they said, coming in from East Haven, then they would have been probably wearing kind of outer weather gear.
Well, or they could have just stored it somewhere.
That's true. Yeah. So as Shandar kind of breaks in and says his thing, he's going to Carvath's gonna look back towards him and say, and I sorry, I'm trying to get my head around like exactly. So this is the same 6 seconds where Ator go down, right?
Yeah, this is basically the same 6 seconds where no, you're kind of like right after the moment where Shandar burst in and Etor was knocked down unconscious. You've now seen, like, this is the same 6 seconds that the actual leader has said, "We've dropped one of your people, Shandar. You can't stop us all." So that's like kind of 12 seconds that you're kind of experiencing right there. You're right now is acting, because he's the top of the initiative.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, because I'm trying to say like no, so Carvath doesn't really. I'm trying to separate like what I know between what between what Carvath knows. Um, so Carvath's he's gonna glance towards Shandar. He's gonna like get like start to get a sneaking suspicion. But he's just like take what you want and go, and take the dodge action again. Well, kind of glancing like suspiciously looking towards Shandar.
So you are going to see as the female is going to yell out, "Oh no, it's Shandar!" And she's going to step back and take 2 shots towards the door, miraculously missing him again.
We didn't even roll for it.
No, they are not trying to hurt him. It's
I
meta for
know.
you guys to know that the dice exist.
I know.
All you had to do was not try to run away from the table as soon as I brought guys into the room, and you could have actually seen this play out like a play, because it is a play. And it's going to the silent one, who is going to run forward and charge at Shandar. And when he gets up there, he swings and he misses. Actually, no, I guess he has to pick up his sword off of the ground. And as he runs up there, I think he'll have to stow his crossbow. So he kind of just runs up there, like as he redraws his sword. And it's going to go to Shandar, who very quickly, with 2 daft little parries from his rapier, is able to disarm that person of his short sword and puts the blade to his neck, down to the ground, foul rapscallion. And you just see as there's just like a burst of blood, and it just like coats that entire side of the room. And then 5 seconds later, the guy falls over.
Wow. I'm so impressed.
Etor, death saving throw. Oh, this is how you lose the election, by the way. That's like, how can we convince everybody? I'm like, you better defeat these people before Shandar gets in there.
Let me through D20.
Yep. So the next guy with the club is going to charge out at Shandar. And then the leader is going to again call down from the heavens this blast of dark purple and black light. And it once again is going to miss Shandar. And you see as the knife darts forward and sinks into the wood right beyond his head. Carvath, what are you doing?
So So does Carvath at this point know kind of sense that this is what's going on? This is all play, essentially.
I think you're pretty much on there. You can do another either insight or perception.
I'm just trying to like not meta game.
Yeah, 100%. At this point, there is no doubt in your mind that there are 4 people that came to town. It's entirely likely that Shandar disappeared because you guys have not seen him over the last few days, and went and got people to do this. You definitely just saw as he stabbed that guy in the throat that he did not actually stab him, and blood and his falling over were completely separate instances. Everything about this is telling you that he is trying to win an election right now.
Okay, so Carvath is going to sensing this. He is going to has he heard enough of the people's voices to be able to mimic them if he cast illusion, minor illusion?
To what end? What's your intention?
Essentially trying to get essentially kind of break the idea that Shandar is actually here to save the day by having it seem like one of the bandits is saying, Shandar, this wasn't our deal, to kind of tell the lie to the idea that Shandar is here to actually save the day.
You could try that. I think you could have a good enough impression from kind of the first 2 who had run in. As far as I'm concerned, that's a cantrip, right?
Yes.
That's not necessarily the type of illusion magic that it's powerful. You can certainly make the sounds happen. It doesn't mean you're necessarily going to convince a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, I assume that like the making the sound is the spell, and then actually being able to persuade. It would depend on what I made the sound say.
Yeah, I think cantrips have a lot of cool uses. It doesn't mean that they're going to change worlds. Um, so like you can go for it and we can see how it plays out, but it's not necessarily like one stop everything's going to change that's happened here. As far as you know at this point, I would say you need to stop these people. Um, I think with that insight of 18, you probably need to get these people actually attacking Shandar, so Shandar actually gives up, is kind of what you're thinking, instead of letting him win through this facade.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking at the first, and then it kind of the idea of an illusion hit my head. But
So you've got the spellcaster's voice. You could do his voice. Maybe try to have him order the other ones to actually attack Shandar, instead of just trying to tell the people of Good Mead. That's kind of what I mean. Like, you've got a better chance of getting 4 people, or like 3 other people, of actually attacking Shandar than necessarily convincing this entire tavern that this was all a facade. That's kind of how I see like the cantrip, because they're in the heat of battle. Everybody else is just scared right now.
that's a good point. Yeah, so maybe, yeah, so and maybe instead of Shandar's voice, if I could try, I'm gonna cast the spell. I'm gonna try and mimic the what I think is a leader's voice, which I think I've heard at this point.
Yeah, you've heard him casting spells. He was the first one who walked in. And even after he's spoken, you know that he's also the one who was using thaumaturgy from outside to cast his voice into this place.
So I'm going to attempt to cast the spell and make it sound that the leader is saying, Shandar's betrayed us. Take him down.
So let me get a persuasion intelligence. Do you have persuasion as a...
No, I have a +3, but I don't have proficiency.
Yeah, so
It'd
just
be-
an intelligence check effectively. Oh, wait, you're a charisma caster. I shouldn't even switch it to intelligence. Charisma is your actual spellcasting. Yeah, I think it's a persuasion. I was trying to help you with the actual intelligence, but I was thinking this was a wizard, not a sorcerer. So yeah, just do a persuasion.
Okay, I think at this point I might use my inspiration for this.
Okay. So this isn't really something that I have a set DC. I'm going to roll for the other characters on their turn to see how they react. So this is something for you to still decide. As far as things go, I don't see a reason why you shouldn't see this as an important enough roll to probably expend 4.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm gonna use all 4 to make it an 18.
Yeah, so you will set the DC basically for them at 18. And I'm assuming, yeah, that's the cantrip. That's an actual action.
Yes, it is, and it is I don't know if this makes a difference, but it's somatic and material. So I have a
Yeah, but you whispering, everybody else is still like kind of busy. That's one of the things about the illusion is you're like, that's almost like if you just do a performance of that, that's you like being a ventriloquist, but using the actual magic, your magic is casting your voice from where he is in his voice. So on some level, he's actually going to be shocked to kind of hear himself saying that.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't sure if there was a performance to see if anybody notices that he's making this motion with his hands, I guess.
Well, I think it's a wisdom saving throw. Isn't that part of minor illusion?
Yes, to determine whether it's an illusion or not, I think yes.
Yeah, so that's what they're all doing. The DC will be 18 though, instead of your actual your normal DC. I think is 13. Yeah, so you basically added like +5 to that DC by doing it how you did. So yeah, she will be up next. So let's see how she interprets that.
Yes. Nice.
She is a wiser character. She's not going to kind of fall for it. She looks over at you and kind of tilts her head a little bit, and she just kind of screams out again, Shandar, you vile defender of Good Mead! And she's going to shoot 2 more arrows into the door behind him. Luther, what are you doing?
So what's the fellow on the table? What's he doing?
Let me get a perception if you've not seen. Or religion. You could do a religion check. It might be better for you. What's your religion modifier?
My religion modifier is actually +0 because it's intelligence, not.
Fucking clerics. He's casting cleric spells.
And is the leader the one that's supposedly down, who is the purse one, or the one who's still up?
No. The one who's standing on the table, on the southern table, basically looking directly north at Shandar.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to target him with a guiding bolt, and I'm going to use my inspiration on the attack roll. So do I have to call, like, I'll use all 3 inspiration, or do I get to do the roll first?
Yeah, I mean, again, make your roll and then decide whether you want to do it. Letting me
Okay.
know that you might do it keeps me from
Yeah.
responding right away.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm gonna add 3 to that.
All right, so that will hit. Roll the damage.
15 is is 15 points. The radiant. I see here.
No, I think mine is
No, it's up there.
46,
Yeah, it is.
46 radiant.
Yeah,
No.
but you rolled a 15. My bad.
I see what I see. Oh, and then can I move as well?
Of course you can. He is going to look over at you, and as he points a finger at you, he's just going to say, "Grovel." I need you to make a, I believe, wisdom saving throw. Next turn, on your turn, you are going to grovel.
Yep.
And then again, his little dagger is going to pull out of the wall and slash. And once again, he just misses Shandar by an inch, but he does cut a little bit of his jacket on that slash.
DM, just asking. It's a holding action.
What?
The man on the table was a reaction.
No, he just told. Oh, my bad. I actually took the assassin as the wrong one. Yeah, that was out of turn.
Okay, just make sure because I'm not sure. He's the top of their turn, so I was surprised.
Yeah, I get it. Just being
I'm
a DM
sorry.
is a
I'm
lot,
sorry.
bro. It's okay to point it out, but once I say yes, you are correct. You don't have to tell me why.
I'm sorry.
I was supposed to be on the assassin. Yes, I agree. Let's see. He is going to fail as he hears the voice of the keeper telling him what to do, and he is actually going to stand back up and attack Shandar. And that's going to be a hit. And he is going to do. So he is going to stab into Shandar as he stands back up into the fight. It's going to go to Shandar. Whoops. I rolled that one in secret on accident. And he's going to yell out, "Bolos, we had a deal!" And then he is going to strike out at the others in front of him. Let's see. I think he's going to go for the one who just attacked him. All right. So as he actually blasts into the silent one, on that go about, you see blood actually fly from Shandar's rapier, and this time it's the same time that he gets hit that the blood flies. Another death save from Ethor. And then onto the other thug. See how he reacts. He is not wise. So yeah, he's going to attack Shandar as well. 2 times with advantage. First one will hit, second one will hit, and he's gonna drop 8 more damage. So this is where the caster would again force Luther to grovel, and fake the attack with the knife, and he is going to. You're all bloody fools. Have you forgotten everything? And it's going to go back to Carvath.
So Carvath is going to shout out, "You all heard it. He's no savior." And
So
he
do a
is.
persuasion with. Oh, my bad. What were you thinking?
Oh no, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm assuming you're trying to persuade the people at that point.
Well, I mean, if he was saying that kind of not as his action, he was going to take a different action, but if that would be his action, he can do that too.
To actually try to persuade the people is going to take your action.
Yeah, so I was essentially thinking like he will say that, kind of shout it out, and he's actually going to attempt to essentially he's trying to use the chaos of combat. He wants to try and drop Shandar, so he was going to try and essentially cast magic missile at Shandar.
Gotcha. So you can roll those missiles and also roll a d20. Some solid missile action. So that's got him in the bloodied condition. You can see the blood like oozing from those wounds of the missiles.
And I don't know if he can actually try to disguise where the source is. Probably not as an action, or obviously not as an action, but he's essentially trying to use the chaos of combat to essentially hit Shandar without people realizing he's attacking him.
I think it's pretty safe for you to understand you're not going to be able to hide that.
Yeah. Just figured I'd ask, but
Oh wait, she never actually got convinced of you. I think she is going to put an arrow or two. Damn, she gets 2 longbow attacks. I've been taking 1 with her, except for when I faked them on Shandar. I think she's gonna put an arrow into Luther. So first attack from her bow into Luther. Big ol' miss. Second attack into him. I think that's a miss as well with a 14.
Yeah.
And of course, he's the one I didn't write down as the leader. I don't remember what I called him. I feel like it was like Calypdos or something. But I did not write it down when I used it, which is a mistake. You've got to write down NPC names. She is going to call out his name and start to run for the south side of the building.
That does sound right. I think Calypto sounds right.
And then it's going to go to Luther, who is groveling.
Yeah, and I can't even sort of crawl towards Etor, right? I'm just essentially paralyzed.
Yeah, it's your whole turn is used, basically because he used command on you.
Yep.
The other option was hold person, but I thought it was funny to make you grovel.
Sure.
Let's see. The spy is, let's see if he's still 14 plus 2, 16. That's still below the DC. I think he's still inside of this attack. So 2 sword attacks into Shandar. 10 and a 9 will not be enough. And then he is going to bonus action disengage. And he is going to run out the front door. Let's see what Shandar is doing. No, this isn't how it was supposed to happen. What are you doing, you fools? And he's just gonna drop to his knees and basically put his hands up. Ethor. One more death saving throw. I think you're 2 and 0 right now.
Yeah. Now 12.
So roll a d4. Got a 3-hour nap ahead of you. And then the thug. He's gonna see through it, so he is just gonna book it. I gotta do it. If he rolls low, he's gonna do something stupid here, but let's see what the leader's gonna do.
He's going to do it.
Something stupid.
He is going to walk up to you, and with advantage, he is going to make a melee spell attack and inflict wounds.
Dude.
Dude.
Oh yeah,
Jeez.
that's a big old hit.
Ouch.
That's 33 damage?
No.
No. That was
If he-
advantage. That was just attacking.
Okay.
Although he could have upcast it, but I feel like that would have been extra mean. 18 damage.
So that, certainly puts me out and carries over 7, which is
It doesn't
half
matter.
my max, right?
Yeah, I think he would have had to do. You said you were at 8 hit points. He would have had to do 23 for an auto kill.
Okay. I was actually at 11, but whatever.
At 11, yeah. So he would have had to do. Is 15 your max?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So he would have had to do 26, which 30 is the max on the level 1 spell. So I think I had to move 2. So he's just moving forward. I guess he's actually. He's going to move out the normal way. Carvath, what would you like to do? You just saw him drop your other friend.
So Carvath is going to, seeing Etor down and Luther down, son of a bitch. And he's going to cast magic missile again, this time aimed at the thug.
Nine damage is going to certainly leave him well wounded. I need a d20 from you. Okay, word. So yeah, he's definitely going to suffer from that. And then it's going to go to the archer. She's basically just going to shoot her way through that back wall, breaking through the glass, and in kind of the commotion, she's just going to disappear into the back room. And then death save from Luther.
That's just a straight D20, right?
Yep.
Sorry, and I included like that movement
Me-
down.
Yeah, you're golden.
Fail.
So Luther fails a death save. Let's see if Shandar is going to hang out while he feels there's maybe not enough attention on him. Yep, he's just going to sit there. Etor is stunned. And I think he's going to run by and drop an inflict wounds into Shandar. Yeah, I just think it's really cool to do this. So he's on the ground groveling. It's advantage again. Oh, that's going to be a big old miss. Wait, no, he's got +5, a 9. Yeah, that's not enough. So he's just going to run by, and then once he gets outside, he's going to disappear into the weather. So Carvath, there are no more hostile enemies here. You have Luther in front of you, bleeding out, and Shandar is kind of just looking towards you, on the ground, on his knees, with his hands up in the air, and he's just kind of like staring from that front door area.
So Carvath is going to shout like, and kind of pointing towards Shandar. This was his doing. Don't let him get away. And he's going to, with his action, so he's not trying to persuade, but he's essentially saying that out loud. And he is going to try to stabilize Luther.
So that is not enough to stabilize him. It will go to Luther with one more death save. So 2 failed.
Wah, wah.
Let's see. As far as things go, I think Shandar would be on disadvantage to do anything. He's gonna start standing up and kind of like not running for the door, but he's like looking to it. And you're basically at that point, Carvath. You have a solid understanding he might be about to run, but your friend is at your feet and he's bleeding out. Do you want to be the hero taking down the villain, or do you want to be the hero because you keep people alive? What are you doing?
Yeah, so he's like, he kind of looks up. He's like, maybe I could reach him. Then he looks towards Luther. He's bad shape. Sorry, just mechanically, like if I that failed medicine check, that didn't make him worse, or do I know?
I've thought about doing that in the past, but no, it does not. It's definitely just a pass-fail. It is effectively a medicine check is you doing a death saving throw for them with no negative repercussions.
Okay, so I'm gonna look and I really want to get this guy, but I'm going to try to stabilize Luther.
Stable. Roll a d4 for us, Luther. All right, and then I've got two more important rolls to determine what happens with the story right now. One of these rolls, I basically rolled a while ago to see when Jaeger arrives here, and he is going to arrive on this turn's initiative. So I would like, let's have Etor roll a d20 to see what Jaeger's initiative is. And then Luther, can I have you roll a d100? And I want to see if they forgot the purse with everybody's money in it.
Oh my god.
So sadly, Carvath's purse is gone. They did not forget it.
It was the most important thing to that guy.
I mean, for what it's worth, he's literally about to retire the character, so it can't hurt that bad
That's true.
if he's basically chosen to become a politician. So he's got a +1 dexterity, so it's on 9. Yeah, so I think realistically, Shandar, let's see if he makes a break for it. Yeah, Shandar's going to make the break for it, and he's basically bumping right into Jaeger outside. So looks even further guilty in front of all of these people. And that, at very least, is where we are taking a break, and we can kind of unpack all of this shortly here. But I definitely need to go to the restroom.
Guys, I'm sorry, but a paladin of justice doesn't keep quiet.
I mean, for what it's worth, that couldn't have been planned better to make Carvath look like the hero. Because that was the overall point of when he told me he was interested in having Carvath stay, I was like, look, because basically part of the book is that Shandar does this. That's how he gets elected. If you guys don't participate, he gets elected by faking this. And when Justin told me he was interested in retiring Carvath to become that politician, I was like, oh yeah, they're totally going to be inside of the mead hall when the shit goes down. And obviously Pulp Fiction came up when I thought of it. I do think it would have been pretty funny if the paladin had the wallet that said bad motherfucker. But as far as things go, you can't get that better than Carvath couldn't start the combat because those arrows would have dropped him unconscious. Anybody but Etor starting that combat was damn near suicidal. So that worked out perfectly. The fact that if that inflict wounds would have killed Luther, that would have been really bad. But the fact that he was able to get to the point where Carvath is do I do the right thing and save somebody, or do I do the right thing and take out the villain, is another one of those moments where it's that's fucking beautiful. And you can't write that. That was purely how all of our decisions worked out together to create, as far as I'm concerned, that was a fucking badass pub fight.
And Carvath's, Justin's move to throw the boys was just spectacular.
Yeah, it was great. I was quite excited to see if it was work. It was perfect.
Yeah, and that I gotta say, that choice between trying to save Luther, not knowing if it was actually going to work, and trying to drop Shandar, meaning knowing that if I drop him, I win. I essentially, it was definitely in character. It was a very tough choice.
Yeah,
But I kind of thought of it like okay, I can get Shandar another day, but so yeah, no, that was great.
It
Yeah, I
shows
think you made the right choice.
it shows the character empathy about the friends. Né? If he was interested in the position, he didn't care about the others. It was his choice. But he
It was
cared.
definitely a solid high road choice. But yeah, throwing the voice, that was definitely the right thing to do. And I feel like you were on the right idea. I don't have, like, realistically, illusions is one of the toughest magics to use. And I feel like it's so much more powerful to try to trick people in combat rather than to trick these people where when they vote in 10 days, they're still tricked. You know what I mean? That's what I was trying to get at, and I don't know if I said it well enough, but you did take the advice.
No, and it was good advice. And I think also too, like, it also works now that I'm thinking about it. It's like, because like they were looking towards him, so like if they heard his voice but they didn't see him saying it, it would be kind of weird. But like, I think they were essentially like the leader was kind of like behind them, leading them.
That was
And
part of what worked out well about the
Yeah.
fact that the archer was the only one with the wisdom, and she was also the only one who saved because she was close to him. Whereas the two that were up front, like, dude, the best part was the fact that, like, like, all right, the spies rolled in this because he's the one who faked being unconscious. So all of a sudden he hears the leader say that, and instead of having his throat slit, he like stands up and starts to stab him.
Yeah, that was I lost definitely. Wow, he got well very quickly. It was
Okay, I'm gonna step away for a couple minutes.
Yeah,
Okay.
sounds good. When everybody gets back, that's legit. But I mean, realistically, that was most of the session. We'll kind of plan where we're going from here.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that could have worked out any better. That was fucking awesome.
Oh, that was great. Yeah. And I was thinking also too, like, even if it had gone bad, like, kind of like Carvath's like on the cusp of like reaching what he wants, and then like the shit hits the fan, and it's like, oh shit.
It would have also been funny if the person who finished off, I didn't even think of this till now, Shandar, was your new guy. What is it? Britannis? Brannick.
Brannick,
And what
yeah.
you said divination wizard? Is that what the rolls were? Like you did like a 10 and a 16 earlier?
Yeah, that those were his portent dice. Yeah, so he's a divination wizard, but he's essentially kind of like we were discussing over text. Like he's not a good guy. Like he's up here because he, and I wrote a little bit into his background sheet in D&D Beyond, but essentially like he tried to sabotage some other guy so that he would have a better chance of joining the Arcane Brotherhood, but his attempts backfired, and the other guy turned out to be also like, so he was like the scion of a powerful family and figured out what he was trying to do. And so essentially Brannick is up here, one, to kind of escape from the retribution of this other guy Davros, but also so that like
Is that name in the background that's on D&D Beyond here?
yeah, I added that in, Davros. Yeah,
Word.
I mean I just kind of came up with a name like off the top of my head, but yeah, so essentially, yeah, he's up here to essentially escape from him, but also get some more power so that he can essentially take revenge against Avarice and essentially cement his chances of like his whole goal. And I put this in like kind of in his like flaws and bonds and stuff. He wants to be part of the Arcane Brotherhood. He'll do whatever it takes to become part of that. But he's kind of been like forced to flee up here because like his first attempt really failed, and so he needs more power and more. He needs to formulate a plan so that he can figure out how to finish off this guy who's his main rival and really achieve his destiny of joining the Arcane Brotherhood. And
With company like this, you're probably on a character arc to goodness.
I'm back.
I mean, I view him as he's at least this new guy. He is kind of like Sanderval. He is very he'll do what needs to be done. He's essentially kind of a sociopath.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've never really felt like even if you were like chaotic evil, I don't feel like evil keeps you from participating with good characters. Because you can just look at it as your character arc is using them while you need them. And then it just might be at some point you basically retire the person. Versus like the choices that were made in tomorrow's campaign, it's weird because at that point it's like, look, the group kind of made some choices that I need to ask you. Please make a good character.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like I mean, yeah, Brannick is definitely like he is very calculating. He's very kind of he's rational. He's like, I can go along to get along until I, you know, for what I need, and then
Well, and I think that's like what most wizards are because like most wizards are in it for some stupid powerful stuff where it's like, yeah, I'm looking to become a lich, but I'm traveling around with a paladin and a cleric. I'm never going to tell them that.
I particularly like that it shows Hidio's Warfare as one of the spells. It's the funnest spell I know.
Which
yeah,
one?
yeah, Tasha's hideous laughter,
Oh, yeah.
great spell.
Hilarious.
That's the only good thing about Tasha.
Yeah. Uh, I when I thought about what I'm going to do in the situation we went through, I thought, he's a paladin. He's not very bright. He's going to react, s- despite the fact that he doesn't know exactly what's happening. So I knew probably could die, but I thought that the only way to going to work for better.
You're 11 intelligence and 15 wisdom. You are definitely an intelligent person.
Yeah, but
11 is above average, and 15 is definitely like extremely wise.
what I think is that even when you are smart, by the way, is that you have make choices that based in concepts that you have. He's thinking about justice all the time. Justice is not exactly something that happens in 10 towns.
Well, I think that's one of the differences, though, between having intelligence and having wisdom. One of the best ways I've ever heard them describe for the game is intelligence is being able to think of what you need. Wisdom is being wise enough to say what needs to be said. So I would say, sadly, you almost have those stats flipped around for what you might be trying to play with that description, because normally the wisdom would be like, I want to tell these people that, what, like your god's Torm?
Here,
Tyr. Yeah, I will like forever confuse those two. Tyr will smite them for the choices that they've made, and you're like, but I'm in a bar full of supporters of Oral, so I'm wise enough not to say that today. I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut. Whereas like the intelligence is it's like that they're all followers of Oral, but they need to hear the truth. So you say it anyways. Um I feel like that's like one of those flips of like how those stats kind of play out. But that's also why, um, even though it's like nice and powerful to start with the stats that you all have, I love having low stats because I think those are the most like the most interesting, fun parts of role playing is when you get to jump into doing some stupid ass shit.
I have to say I'm learning a lot about how to play my character because I by so long since I played that I probably lost the something about the contest of playing, uh, creating the character. It's not that easy.
Yeah,
Well,
I,
a lot
I
of
definitely like. Oh, sorry, Mara, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was saying a lot of my favorite times are when I try and play into my character's like weaknesses. Like obviously Sandoval didn't last very long, but like the idea that he was like he thought he was very charismatic and he could be the face of the party when his charisma was actually like mechanically very bad. That's kind of what I feel like that's kind of what leads to you know um and like I love the idea of Etor being like he's a paladin and he hates the idea of these people like stealing from him and he just can't like hold it back anymore and he incites this fight and it ended up being like you know a great scenario. So
Yeah, having 11 as your dump stat really sucks. That was part of why I was kind of frustrated with how high those dice worked out like that. Which actually, I have come to a new conclusion on how I would like to roll dice in the future. Because it basically combines rolling dice and point buy. Like everybody ends up with the same number of points, but you roll for your actual stats. And that's potentially one of the coolest systems I've ever seen.
I'm back.
oh, so you get like a certain pool and then you
Yeah, so like 3d6, 3d6, 3d6. So you would subtract 12 from 27 to get 15. You would subtract 10 from 25 to get 15, and then 9 from 23 to get a 14. So you would have 15, 15, 14, 12, 10, 9. For a total, I think offhand, without being admitting I'm terrible at math, I think that's 75. But because you subtract a 3d6 from a set number, everybody has the same pool. If you roll low, it means your other stat is high. If you roll high, it means your other stat is low. So if you roll an 18, that's automatically subtracted from the 29, so you get a 9 as like the mirror of that one. And then like if you rolled two 18s, you would have a 9 and then a 7. If you rolled three 18s, you would have a 5. But you would have three 18s, a 9, a 7, and a 5.
Which number you are subtracting from?
I feel like I'm missing a step.
You are subtracting from where? I didn't get that too.
So you're subtracting the highest number from 27, the middle number from 25, and then the lowest number from 23. So you're subtracting 12 from 27, 10 from 25, and 9 from 23. If you rolled three 18s, you would subtract 18 from all of those and get 975 as like the other three
Okay.
numbers of your six numbers. But everybody starts off with 75 because that's what the pool you subtract from is from.
Got it. Okay.
I think I got it.
But it's just a modified version of point buy. I think point buy is out of 72 points. But if you take 15, you lose 2 points. So like if you maximize out with point buy, you actually would get what is that, 72, 66. Whereas somebody who doesn't take 15s would potentially have 72 stats. But again, that way everybody has the same stat pool. Nobody can roll extremely high while other people roll extremely low. Everybody has the same stat pool, but you get to roll still. And that to me, rolling is everything about this game. I hate point buy because you don't roll. But I've also played in games where at level one person has stupid high stats and every single combat is a story about their ability to succeed. So I think we've got everybody back now. In the long run, if you guys want to play anything else, that is fine. I want to take a moment just out of character to actually see, like, do you all have plans where you would like to go forward? Do you want to start next week meeting Brennick? Do you want to meet Brennick here in like a little bit of role play after this fight? Kind of just get like a state of things, like where you guys want to do and where you guys want to go, rather, what you guys want to do and where you want to go from here.
Well, I think uh, we could have some role playing now with Brennick. I think Justin probably has some idea on how he wants to approach the character. He already said that maybe he wants to make a introduction that makes sense for Brennick. I don't know what Larry thinks about.
Yeah, that sounds fine to me. The only thing about what we want to do next is, like last week, I think we picked up a rumor about the Cares, the two towns.
Yeah, so right now you guys have everything inside of your party notes. You can take a look at those. Those are kind of the leads that you have right now.
We had in Connect, some establishments are beset by vandals and thieves that cook about unseen. The town speaker travels could really use some help catching the interlopers.
I should just move the Good Mead one down to completed as well.
We still have the chance to go back to Dragonhold and face the Winter Wolves, but I think it's too hard for us yet. I think we are too low level to fight two wolves. And Conic, we have that question, and I don't know. I think Cat's going to Conic seems like a way to find and know another city, and maybe we can complete the quest. I don't know.
Justin, roll a d6 for me. We will give Brennick the ability to share this. Again, I don't know how prepared you are to roleplay him. It is already late in our day, so you don't necessarily have to jump into that. That's part of what I am curious about. If you guys are ready to do something, we can do that. As far as I'm concerned, I think this is a pretty solid point to end things. That way, Justin has an extra week to imagine that character.
Well, I was thinking essentially Brannick has been sitting at some like far place uh, in the mead hall, like some table, or essentially kind of staying out of sight, kind of watching all of this unfurl, and then he kind of sort of like after it's all done, he kind of I guess it depends. I guess it partially depends on um because okay, so now Shandar kind of
Quite
with his tail
honestly,
between his legs, and
if he's watching all of this, it's also about to be you role playing with yourself because each of them is unconscious for multiple hours here as well.
I have 3 hours of a nap before I wake up.
right, good point, yeah. So I said, but I said thinking that like Brannick had like he watched all this from the back of the tavern, and he was kind of like, huh. And then he was like, maybe I should, get to know these people. But he was like kind of completely in the background, didn't, nobody noticed him. Um, and maybe at some later point, like after they've kind of cleaned up this mess of what happened in the tavern, is when he would like. I feel like the idea of Harvard's character is like he's been in Good Mead for a little bit, and he's kind of tried to get a sense of like what's going on, and he's heard about sort of what these guys have done, and that's kind of why he wants to latch on to these people. Um, in terms of like when that actually happens from a role playing perspective, I'm happy to do it now if we want to kind of fast forward and retire Carvath, or we can do it next week. I'm kind of either way.
So it would kind of be up to perhaps you all if you would like to have a little bit of time where you are like just eating once they recover, or if you wanted to basically meet them some point later down the road of having seen this, you now start to like pay a little bit more attention to them and then approach them like a different day. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it would probably be he would kind of see this, and he would take a day or so to digest it, and then he would come and approach them another day.
Alrighty, so Luther or Etor, do you have anything in particular that you want to approach Carvath with when you all come back to consciousness?
First thing, the Hector gonna wake up and say, "What happened? I I don't know what's going on," because he was attacking people. Now he wake up, everything sounds different. He had no idea about Shandar anything, but nothing in particular to Carvath. I think Hector is going to be happy for Carvath to find a place for himself and hope that everything is going fine. I think Hector is happy.
Did you have anything in particular that Luther would want to do when he comes back to consciousness?
Beyond thanking Carvath for saving his life, nothing in particular.
Alrighty, so let me have Etor roll a d10, Luther roll a d8, and Carvath, damn it, Brannick roll a d6. Carvath, roll another d6. Oh wait, was that 4? What was the 4 rolled? Is that from?
I rolled a 1 and then a 6.
What was the 4 that you rolled before, though? Right after I was talking about the stats?
That is maybe that was, I don't know. I didn't mean to roll a d6.
Alright, here's what's going to go down. Roll any die. If it's odd, you're taking a 4. If it's even, you're taking the 6.
Yeah, that's really weird. I
feel like
know.
it was a double click from. That's what it looks like. That you like clicked right around Ethor. All right, so you can take the 6 with Brannick. You guys are all leveling up to level 3 if you didn't gather. So Etor will have another 7 hit points. Luther will have another 5. Brannick will have another 6. I think that's the most hit points you have ever had on a level 3, Justin.
By a lot, yeah.
Ethor, do you have? I think you're gonna have to pick your sacred oath, and I think divine health is just what you get. Do you have a sacred oath in mind?
Not yet. Let me. I have to take a look.
Oh, good. So again, this is essentially you have all week to decide, anyways. But you guys have those all set. Hopefully next week that we have relic available. But moving forward, these will be our new adventuring team. I think we're going to pick up basically, probably that next day of shit. What comes after Shez? I don't know these months like offhand. It's one of the reasons I want to use normal months so bad. Tarsak. We are going to start on Tarsak the 1st. As far as I am concerned, it will be that same type of thing. If you guys want to role play meeting Brannock, that is fine. If you guys want to pick up on the 1st of Tarsak and go about your business, that is what I am planning for. Any actual roleplay will be purely improvisation. There's essentially nothing left for you all to do in Good Mead, but you do now have obviously a shelter because Carvath is still your friend and he is now in power. So as far as things go, this is, you guys kind of have a town.
Sorry, am I using the 4 or the 6?
The 6. Yep, it was odd would take the 4 and even would take the 6, and you rolled